detail.
But if those images chilled you, our second weird weather event will have you gasping. We're heading now to Australia, to its largest and most famous city, Sydney. On the 23rd of September 2009, what happened to Sydney amazed the world, because it literally changed colour overnight.
That morning, everything was drenched in red. It was almost like the colour of blood. And I could see that it was throughout the city.
From his high-rise apartment, Jonathan Berry had a ringside seat on these incredible events.
It was completely even. It was almost as if I was on Mars. It was very still, there was no wind, and I couldn't taste it, and I couldn't touch it, and I couldn't smell it. There was nothing.
6:10 in the morning, and it's September 23rd, 2009.
Sydney-siders grabbed their cameras and phones and recorded the surreal scenes.
This is unbelievable. Absolutely amazing.
6:30 in the morning. Look at this time.
I woke up and I was like, what is going on? This is, like the apocalypse, or it's like Armageddon has actually hit Earth, it was just out of this world, it really was.
Nate Johnston documented a bizarre commute to work.
This is 7 o'clock in the morning. It was really eerie, because I catch the same ride, you know all the scenery, and not being able to see anything in front of you was, it was almost a bit freaky. 7:20. The fact that visibility was reduced to almost about 15-20 metres in front of you. I couldn't even see the harbour bridge until we were practically under it. It was really weird.
What had happened? How did Sydney become like the surface of Mars overnight? Well, the answer lay 2,500 kilometres away, deep in the heart of Australia's outback. Dust. Iron-rich and deep red. This is what had caused Sydney's extraordinary transformation. Here, dust storms are just part of life, but this event was really on a totally different scale. Hardened Aussie John White has experienced most of what the outback had to throw at him.
The dust storms that I normally come across are fairly short-lived, and you can see them coming. It's normally a beautiful blue sky, then you can see the dust storm coming towards you. It comes through maybe half hour or so, it's there, and then sometimes you get a bit of rain, then it clears up.
But while crossing a track, he had an accident at just the wrong time. Shortly after, a storm unlike anything he'd ever seen before overwhelmed his stricken vehicle.
The wind was absolutely atrocious. The airborne sand, you couldn't stand up in it. It was cutting into your skin. Even with my big beard, you could feel it on your skin. It was absolutely horrendous.
Atmospheric scientist Craig Strong is an avid connoisseur of dust storms.
I reckon a good dust storm is one you can taste. So you can taste it in your mouth, you can roll it in your teeth, and you can say, yeah, that's about 10 microns in size. That's a good dust storm for me.
Craig predicted its arrival. He'd been watching events conspire over the weeks and months leading to the storm.
We had floods in January bring new sediment into the inland parts of Australia. We had droughts in the arid and the semi-arid areas of Australia, putting the vegetation cover under stress. And then we had a really intense cold front move through, which created very strong winds. All the conditions were right to produce an incredibly large dust storm.
16 million tonnes of frenzied dust was now being whipped into the air.
At the height of the storm, visibility where I was around the truck was less than a metre. And if I had have walked over the sand dune, I can just about guarantee I would never have found my way back to the truck.
At source area, the wind speeds were up around about, they varied from 70 to 90 kilometres per hour.
It feels like sandpaper. I had my beard pulled up over my nose and eyes and just trying to protect my face when I was out in it. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
This was the mother of all dust storms. 600 miles long and 300 miles wide, a monstrous cloud the size of Spain rolling across Australia. As it travelled across the country, stunned Australians recorded the incredible spectacle.
That's absolutely amazing. Captain Clear, it's just coming across.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm recording it. Holy
What was amazing about the amount of dust we were seeing was just how dense the dust was. You know, the visibilities were roughly about 1 kilometre. Now, to put that into context, you would have to go to the source areas normally to get that sort of level of dust concentration.
It just got blacker. Oh my gosh. I think we better go outside, Chad. Yeah. Oh, that is horrible.
When it reached Sydney, less than 24 hours later, the intensity of the storm stunned everybody.
From country to city, people woke up this morning to an eerie red haze, the likes of which many had never seen before. It was all due to a dust storm.
Everything is red. So if you look around the streets, it's just red. I mean, this isn't some sort of camera error. I mean, that's what everything looks like. Another thing, radio stations keep playing music that's related to dust. So we have Dusty Springfield and Slim Dusty all blaring over the radio this morning.
I just don't know what to do with myself.
Dust storms are not unusual in Australia, but this was by far the biggest since records had begun. It also travelled the furthest and caused the most disruption.
It was phenomenal, you know, and being able to witness such a phenomenon, I don't think I will in my lifetime again, to be honest.
I've never seen anything like this at all. I know that there are dust storms in South Australia and Western Australia and in the centre, but that's a long, long way away from Sydney.
Being here when the dust storm rolled through was quite a privilege. You know, it was really quite exciting. We now realise that we're actually sitting on the edge of a very large desert, and we can, as city dwellers, be impacted by these very large dust storms.
To realise that I was out in the start of that, it was amazing to think that where I was, that storm went that far. Yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal.
So that dust had travelled 1,500 miles from Sydney.